When we talk about innovation, we are missing the most important part. What we need to be talking about is creating innovators, not innovation. When I worked in higher ed, I wasn't a researcher, and it wasn't baked into our thinking that we need to be focused on innovation, which is creativity, challenging the status quo, looking at things differently. Now I'm a person who's invited to work with a lot of universities and colleges in the US and Canada. I'm even in Canada right now. And I know that they pride themselves on being innovative and really want to make that part of everything they do. But being innovative can be elusive. So let me share with you what the 4 steps are. So the first is, with your team, you're going to get together and really simply just jump in and list out what's working around here, what's good. And what you're going to see is you're going to make a list. And after that, you're going to have this aha moment where you ask people then to take a look. And then step 2 is break it into 2 different lists. What was internal? What was external? Internal is stuff like your workflows or how we do recognition around here. It's the internal stuff. Then there's the external stuff, which is we're meeting a new client need really well, or we have fantastic client return rates, something like that. And step 3 is then where's the pain? What's not working? Where are we struggling? What could be better? What's clunky? What feels off target? And then you sit in that part, meaning it's the messy middle. And instead of going right to fixing it, you're going to fall in love with the problem instead of falling in love with a solution first. This is where innovation happens. Then the 4th step, instead of, you might think it's going to fix the problem, the 4th step isn't. The 4th step is figuring out what questions should we be asking. That slows it down. It has you operate from a curiosity mindset instead of a fix-it mindset. And that's where you're going to get better solutions and answers. So I really encourage you to try this out. There are a lot of buzzwords out there these days, and innovation is one of them. And when I say buzzword, I mean it's something that we often don't scratch the surface of. The other words are strategy, communication, and leadership. We often don't scratch the surface. And so I encourage you to dissect this, dive in with your team. And it's interesting. Some folks feel like they're creative by nature and others not as much by nature. You don't have to be creative by nature. You just need to be willing to take a look. This is really an emotional intelligence model. If we're looking at emotional intelligence for people, for individuals, there are 5 steps. And the first step is self-awareness. So this is you pulling back, taking a pause, and thinking about your work, your business as in terms of what's working, what's not, internal and external, and what questions should we be asking. For me personally, I feel like I have a brain that is often thinking differently than others, and I sometimes think it has to do with being left-handed, which is probably some of the case and not also not the case. It's just that I have to look at the world differently than a lot of people. I see things differently. I do things differently. Case in point, when I was just coming into Canada, I'm supposed to check on the form as I'm going through customs. Is this for work or is this for pleasure? And I was like, okay, well, I am doing work while I'm here, but I am buffering it with 2 days. So in terms of percentage of time that I'm spending here, I am spending more time here for pleasure than for work. But when I'm here, I am the pleasure part. I'm even doing work on the back end, but still I think the higher percentage is pleasure. So I checked that. And they really gave me a hard time as I started to go through. So I started to learn, oh, the way I'm supposed to think about this is if I'm doing any work at all, I say work. Good luck on your innovation, but even more luck on doing the right thing, which is creating a culture of innovators.